What's happening, fellow Cobras? Welcome back to the Strike First podcast. If this is your first time with us and you love CobraKai and KarateKid, consider joining the dojo today by following my Instagram at Strike First Podcast and hitting the red subscribe button below. In this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This past week, myself and fellow CobraKai content creators, CobraKai Fandom, The Chosen One, Talking CobraKai, CobraKai Studio, Boxiest, and CobraKai Nation all came together to create our own video essays on our own channels for one particular scene in CobraKai that we like the most, and we present to you the series called One Striking Scene. Looking back at my fandom of the KarateKid and CobraKai franchise, there are a countless number of scenes up there among my favorites, which made it extremely difficult to pick. But after a lot of careful consideration, there was one scene that stood out to me the most among the others. And my choice may surprise a lot of you, but the scene I chose comes from CobraKai Season 1, Episode 5, and happens right at the very end of the episode. But before I get to the scene in question, allow me to refresh your memory about what's happening throughout the duration of the whole episode. So Daniel is plotting hard for ways to get back at Johnny for bringing back CobraKai. And what Daniel does is he has this fancy dinner set up at the country club with Armand, who is Johnny's landlord for the dojo. And he ends up convincing Armand to double the rent. And when Daniel eventually reveals to Amanda what he's done, she's immediately against it and saying Daniel is acting like a mental patient for doing such a thing, and turning into a different person than the person she married. Feeling lost and troubled with how to deal with the return of CobraKai and his daughter resenting him for embarrassing her in front of her boyfriend Kyler, Daniel turns to none other than Mr. Miyagi for help by visiting his gravesite. And as Daniel goes to leave Mr. Miyagi's grave, he has a flashback to the lesson he taught him about balance. And not just one thing in particular, but in all aspects of life. And he vows to Daniel that by doing this, everything will work out in the end and be better. Daniel then understands what Mr. Miyagi was saying, just like he did back in 1984 when the lesson was originally given to him.
Daniel-san, you remember lesson about balance?
Yeah.
A lesson not just karate only. Lesson for whole life. Whole life have a balance.
He also realizes what's been missing in his life and how he can find that balance. Daniel then goes home and begins cleaning out the pool house, which was originally a dojo, but it's been turned into a room for storage. Once finished cleaning out the dojo, we get to the beginning of my favorite scene in the entire show. You see a close-up of Daniel's face opening up a small box. He stares into it for a few seconds, and then reveals it's his original headband from the KarateKid trilogy. He then puts it on, and it cuts to him in a Miyagi-Do gi, doing the kata that Miyagi taught him in the Karate Kid 3, with the original score from the first Karate Kid film by Bill Conti when Daniel won the tournament against Johnny. My reasons for this scene being the one that strikes me the most is pretty self-explanatory, but if I had to put it into words, it would just be that with me growing up, I wanted nothing more than to be just like Daniel LaRusso. I took karate as a kid, my parents would make me homemade headbands to wear, I would even always pose in pictures doing the crane kick. And now that I'm all grown up, to see the quote-unquote Karate Kid all grown up, back doing karate, it was very difficult to even find words to explain it. But that iconic score by Bill Conti was the cherry on top, and it was an absolute nostalgia overload with countless emotions. And what I also loved most about the scene was the message that was incorporated. At some point in our lives, we've all experienced at some point or another the feeling of being lost and having a lack of direction. And Mr. Miyagi reminded Daniel, and essentially all of us, that whenever we feel lost, we should go back to our roots and focus on finding that balance in our life. And for Daniel, karate and Mr. Miyagi are the two things that helped mold him into the person he is today the most. And with karate, he is back on track with his balance. And like I said before, there are so many other different scenes that I could have chosen for this video, but this one just had the most meaning to me, my childhood, and connected to me on a personal level. So this was my one striking scene. With that being said, guys, that'll do it for this video. If you like what you saw here today, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated on CobraKai and KarateKid content, as well as leave a comment down below telling me your favorite scene. And don't forget to check out the other creators' videos as I mentioned at the beginning. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.